Race about to get underway though. The red lights on the gantry. They go out now and the race gets underway, and it's that MX-5 that is on the inside line that qualified on pole position, that's been started there by Alan Henderson, that leads the way into Abbey for the first time. A great sight, 38 cars that we have starting this Tegiwa Club Enduro Championship race that's going to be going on for the next 2 hours, and it is still Alan Henderson leading from Scott Parkin as they make their way down towards the village hairpin for the first time. Henderson in practice at 1:11.325. We go on board here with Scott Parkin's car as he comes out of village and down the hangar straight. You can see that Mazda MX-5 in a straight line is able to get away, Marcus.
Yeah, it's like a rocket, isn't it? And you could see that from Parkin's viewpoint that there was no living with it in a straight line. A massive Venturi under the tail. A car that the team developed from a standard road car. And it's quite a remarkable piece of kit.
And he's lost out of position. I think that's Simon Major, isn't it, that's got up into second position, who won the road sports race solo yesterday. He's sharing the driving today with Justin Middleton, but he's got ahead of Scott Parkin, who's gone down to third position. And as we come towards the end of this first lap of the race, and I'm not convinced that the timing screen has got that quite right at the moment, because our eyes are telling us that it's not, that it's Henderson in the lead. Yes, that's right. So possibly an issue with his transponder. That could become annoying as the race goes on. Henderson it is that's leading, then Major in second, Simon Parkin in third, and Ian Jones up to fourth position as well from ninth on the grid. So that's a good start to the race in that BMW Compact. As into the pits goes the 10 car that started from the back anyway of Rob Fennick.
Yeah, what a shame to be out so early, or in trouble so early in a 2-hour race, and technicians will be diving on that, see what they can do. Here's a view from Ryan Parkin.
Yeah, and he is in fifth position, and that's the BMW ahead of him, the BMW Compact of Ian Jones and Martin Gatsby, the much modified BMW Compact.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
And you can see how tight it is between those three cars ahead of us. Ryan Parkin in the dark side developments car.
You can see his pro up there, a couple of places up, engaged in battle with Simon Major. Simon Major in second place. Then the first of the Parkins, then that BMW of Jones, then the second of the Parkins. Gillespie, I see up there. Paul Browse hanging in there. I don't know if it's Paul or his son Luke who popped that green Cupra on a strong group position.
Yeah, it's Paul on board at the moment, but possibly Luke would have set the time.
Out across the curb, quite sideways, was the VW Scirocco there.
That's the 183 car. That's Edward Cook, the green Scirocco that is shared with Stephen Cook. Good to see that as the 69 car goes through. That's started by Matthew Hampson. And that car has dropped outside of the top 10. It's in 16th position. Andy Schultz, who's the quicker driver of the two, will be taking over later on, and we'll probably try and get that car a little bit further back up the order again.
A lot of GT experience, hasn't he, Andy Schultz?
Yes. So we've got 3 different classes racing in Club Enduro, and they are based on a power to weight ratio split. And it's 300 brake horsepower per tonne for Class A, and that's where the number 10 car came from. But as you can see, that seems to have broken at the moment, unfortunately. Class B is for cars with 240 brake horsepower per tonne, and Class C, the limit is 180 brake horsepower per tonne. So there's 3 different classes. Class C, probably the least well supported today. But I think we've got 13 cars in Class B, 15 in Class A, and 9 in Class C seems to be the make-off thing. So fairly good numbers there. We can see the number 83 car going through. That's one of the Class B cars. That's Will Puttergill and Chris Nyland. Puttergill at the wheel of that car at the moment, and they are indeed the class leaders in the points coming into this weekend, having won the 2 previous rounds at Brands Hatch on the Grand Prix circuit. I think that was in May, and Snetterton in June, which was the previous meeting for these cars about 2 months ago now, so it's been quite a gap in the calendar for the Tegiwa Club Enduro Championship.
It's been quite a success story, hasn't it, over the last 2 or 3 seasons. And, big grids, varied cars, quality entry. Fantastic pieces of kit out there.
Yes, it was, just looking back to see exactly when it was that Club Enduro was inaugurated. The trial race was in 2015 at Snetterton, which was sort of an elongated road sports race at the time, but then it was
a 10th season then?
Yeah, exactly, a full season from 2016, the 3 races that year, I think 5 races the following year, and then it's built into a full championship over the subsequent seasons, and it really was a bit of a first. Others have since imitated since it was created, but it's still as popular as ever. As I say, almost 40 cars on the grid this weekend in the Tegiwa Club Enduro Championship, and there's a lot for everyone to play for. There's also the Clubman Cup for older cars as well, and that's being led by Chris Nylands and William Puttergill in their motion motorsport cars so far this season. That's for cars of more than 10 years of age, effectively. So on board with Scott Parkin, who's in 3rd position. So he's lost a little bit of contact now with Simon Major, it would seem, who's a bit further up the road, just going through the left-hander, then down towards the right-hand hairpin at Village, turning their way through that, and through the left-hand kink, and then onto that right-handed link section that brings them on to the Grand Prix circuit, onto the Hangar Straight, where they run out wide over the exit of what is, I suppose, Chapel Curve, isn't it, on the Grand Prix circuit, and on to the long Hangar Straight.
He's losing ground down the straight, that's for sure.
And up ahead, you can see already that Alan Henderson is getting into traffic. We're only on lap 6 of the race, and there is quite a differential between front and back. There is one car coming quite slowly up the pit straight, I can see from our commentary box window. Marcus is just getting the binoculars on that to see if he can identify
the BMW
car. It is indeed a
82, is it? 62.
60
turn 62.
2, which is that's the Lee Dendy Sadler and Andy Gay car. Lee Dendy Sadler started that car. You can see it on screen now. It's just going to pull up by the safety car, more or less, at the end of the pit lane. Although now he's decided to get going again, so possibly he's realised that he can get back round at least to the pit lane entrance and get some remedial work done. Let's head down to the pit lane for the first time, and Kieran McGinley is there. Let's see who he's got.
Early issue here for the number 10 machine. I'm down here now with Andrew Shepherd. Andrew, what's the latest? Because this happened very early on the first lap.
Yeah, so we had a pressure regulator valve go in road sports yesterday. So look, obviously being a Sunday, we couldn't get any spare parts. So the team managed to get one off an engine that they had, and they've driven it from Peterborough here today. So we fitted it this morning. So we missed qualifying. So we've gone out, not really testing the car since the valve was fitted. So we've obviously got some form of issue with that, so we're just trying to work out what that is, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get it rectified and back out.
Absolutely, we'll keep a close eye on you. I mean, a spanner in the works to happen so early as well.
Yeah, not great, especially off the back of a faultless Friday test and a fairly faultless road sports up until the last 2 or 3 laps. So, yeah, hopefully we can get some racing today.
Yeah, absolutely. But when was Rob saying about the problem? Was it very early on in the lap?
Yeah, as soon as he went out, really. Obviously, we did the 2 green flag laps, but yeah, we noticed the fault as soon as he got on full throttle. So,
well, best of luck with you. Hopefully, you can get it back out there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew Shepherd. Back to you in the commentary box.
Thank you, Kieran. As we're watching the number 77 car going through, that's Daniel Perry in the Ginetta G40 GT5. He has just gone through. He's in 26th position, 3rd in Class C at the moment. That's being led by Ash Moore in the championship leading car. They're looking to extend their faultless run of 3 wins from 3 so far. 2nd in that class, but already quite a long way behind the class leader, Paul Subiani and Johnny Hayes, and then Perry and Banks, they're right with Hayes and Subiani. They are in 3rd place. So about 14-second lead in Class C for Ash Moore, but then 2nd and 3rd are right together within Class C. So we're only about 10 minutes into this race. That's the 25 car we can see there. That's Colin Gillespie sharing the car with the sometime F1000 racer Alok Iyengar, the man from Pune in India. Now already, we were saying earlier on that we hadn't seen any track limit penalties this weekend, and then within 10 minutes of the Club Enduro race starting, there's one for Matthew Hampson. So he has a 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits in car number 69. Now he's running in 15th position at the moment.
Those penalties accumulate as we go along?
Yes, so
repeat offender gets...
It'll be another 10 seconds next time, and then I think it's either a 30-second or a drive-through, actually, if you exceed again. And obviously there's still 11/12ths of this race left to go. Now, Hampson won't be in the car for all of it, because at some point he will hand over to Andy Schultz when I think it resets the penalty situation.
That Mazda that leads is absolutely fabulous, isn't it? I remember seeing it at Snetterton was it last year, and talking to the team about it, and it was showing signs of promise at that point, but still going to that phase where things were breaking and they were kind of discovering what needed beefing up on the car. And as it's all a one-off, they've done themselves, it was sort of develop as you go along. And a really great job they've done. It looks the business. It
does, and already it's beaten its own lap. Well, I think it's not its own lap record. It was Alan Henderson who had the lap record, but in a different car. I think the Lotus, possibly, a few years ago. But that was a 112.33, and already we've gone down to a 111.682 during the course of this race, which is 0.3 off what he did in qualifying, which in its own right was a 93-mile-an-hour lap.
With a lesser fuel weight.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a good effort. Now, of course, he's going to be lucky to get a clear lap for the rest of the race. So that's clearly going to start to have an impact on the ability to set really quick individual lap times. And on that last lap, by the way, Simon Major did take about 2 tenths out of the Henderson race lead. They've just come across the line again, and the gap has got out that time to 3.3 seconds.
Henderson was stuck in traffic, as we saw, and now, of course, that situation is for his chaser to contend with.
Yeah, so it's Henderson, number 90, I should say, that leads. Number 18, Simon Major, in second place. Number 1, Scott Parkin, is third. 117, Ian Jones is fourth. Ryan Parkin, number 6, is in fifth place. And number 34, Greg Saunders, is in sixth. In Class B at the moment, the lead is with Chris Webster, actually, and Matthew Tidmarsh in their Gulf-liveried Ginetta. From in second place within that class, Will Putzigill and Chris Nyland. And third place in that class, Toby Partridge and Louis Woodward in the BMW. So 3 different types of car in the first 3 places within that class. And Class C, we've told you a moment ago that that's Ashmore that is ahead there. So working our way around the 11th lap of this race, we will head down to the pit lane once again, and Kieran McGinley is there.
I'm down here in the garage of the number 62. I'm here with Andy Gay, and well, lead Andy Sadler brought the car in very early on. What seemed to be the issue?
We've had a few issues with overheating this weekend, and having wrecked a couple of engines earlier in the year, we thought it was best to have a look at it. Seems to have dropped its temperature down a little bit now, so we're going to limit our revs and hope we make it to the end.
It's a long way to go to nurse an issue. Are you confident you can make it?
Oh, of course. Well, we've come all this way, so we'll do our best.
So you've got to adjust your driving style for later on in the race as well, haven't you, when you jump in?
Yeah, definitely. I've got to try and remember we're sort of limiting ourselves to about 6,000 revs. Hope the airflow will keep it cool enough that the engine survives.
Let's hope it does. Fingers crossed for everything for you, Andy. Good luck for the rest of the race.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Andy. Back to our commentators.
Thank you, Kieran. So the race continues. There's the 333 car, which is Thomas Stedman in the Mazda MX-5, the 36-year-old automotive engineer from Warwick in one of those Class C cars. And there you see the number 169 car. That's just ahead of it on track, and so they're battling for 33rd and 34th positions, and they've got quicker cars from Class A coming through to lap them. So 15 minutes, another 15 minutes and the pit lane window will be open. One thing to note, by the way, about the pit stops is they cannot be taken during a safety car period. So if you're in when the safety car comes out onto the track, then you can complete your stop, but you cannot make a mandatory stop either during the safety car period, and you cannot follow the safety car in at the end of the safety car period either. You have to do one more lap after that. There's the Browse car. That is running where at the moment? In 11th position.
And the leader's in trouble.
Oh dear, that's a shame. That's the Alan Henderson car. Well, we've seen before that it's a very fast car, but can be fragile. But Alan Henderson leaping that, coasting that Mazda home to the pit lane. That's a great shame. It's only managed about the distance of a sprint race there, 15 minutes, unfortunately. And he's heading into the pit, so that means now that Simon Major takes the lead of the race by 1.2 seconds, 1.3 seconds from Scott Parkin, and Ian Jones in the BMW Compact moves up to 3rd, Ryan Parkin moves up to 4th, and Greg Saunders up into 5th position. There's our Class C leader though. That's the 195 car, Ash Moore at the wheel at the moment. It's good to see that out because it was involved in an incident yesterday in the road sports race with another car that we're expecting to see out today, Alex Wilkinson Hughes in the Scuderia Dave Mazda MX-5, made contact with that car, having the MX-5 having made contact with a back marker during the road sports race. So good to see the 195 Civic out in the race today. But there's the number 1 car, that's Scott Parkin, twin of Ryan Parkin, up in second place. Oh, there's one off into the gravel trap there. It's one of the MX-5s. Just struggling to see what the number is on that one though. It's the 169 car as we get a different angle that we were looking at just a few moments ago, and that is the car of Matthew Simonite and James Mansell. And I think it was Matthew Simonite that had started that car, so that's into the gravel trap, so I wonder if that could precipitate a caution period, possibly.
It's quite a long way off, isn't it?
It is. There's Henderson in the pit lane, car being lifted up while some examination work is done. And they'll see if they can get that car back out into the race. Of course, this cannot count as the mandatory stop. They'll have to make a 3-minute mandatory stop in the pit window. Obviously, pit stops outside of that window can be made, but they don't have to be 3 minutes in duration. But a great shame, that, Marcus, that this remarkable car is looking like it's going to be, if not out of the race, then somewhat delayed.
Whether it's a diff issue or something like that, fiddling around with the rear wheel.
So that's
feeling what's happening within the diff.
So there you can see the battle for 9th and 10th place. That's Ben Williams and Paul Browse, number 82 and 22, both in Cupras.
And Paul Browse got the Stowmarket glass car. It's really vivid in its livery, like the BMW which preceded it in their stable.
There is Ashmore once again in that 195 car, prepared by Motion Motorsport, who prepare a lot of cars, a lot of, in particular, Civics. We've seen several of their cars out in things like Type R Trophy as well. And there you can see Ashmore just waving a faster car past. In that case, it's the number 34 car of Gregory Saunders, who's in 5th position at the moment in his Cupra. Just not wanting to be delayed by having to sort of dive out of the way of a faster car. So it's still Major leading, but only by 0.4 of a second from Scott Parkin in 2nd place. That's Ryan Parkin, I think we've just seen go through our shot, who's in 4th position. And there is our Class B leader, that is Chris Webster in the Ginetta.
That's classic, that Golf livery with the broad arrow over the top. It looks just like the old Golf Porsche 908
safety car.
Florio.
Indeed. So safety car is out, which is not too much of a surprise with that Matthew Simonite Mazda that needed to be recovered from the gravel trap. It had gone a long way off. A great shame for Matthew Simonite and James Mansell.
The Simonite family, who were the stars of off-road racing.
Yes.
All those years ago.
They were.
Melanie Simonite,
Yeah,
Jack Simonite.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of sisters that both raced, weren't they?
Right.
Yeah. Whether Matthew is related or not, I'm not sure, but he's from Chesterfield, 36 years of age.
Derbyshire, Yorkshire borders.
Yeah,
sounds,
exactly.
Kind of about right.
Been racing since 2013 in MX5s and C1s and Type R Trophy. And in this white and blue MX5 Sport built by Matt himself. It's actually the car that runs on fossil-free synthetic fuel, or did, until it ended up in the gravel trap. Now, who's this in the pit lane? Oh, it's just having a look which car it is.
Simmons.
Yes, it's Etienne Simmons, isn't it, in the number 9 car, the Honda Civic Type R. So that car has come in from towards the back of the field a few laps ago, actually, by the looks of it. Looking at the timing screen. So there's the safety car. It's not picked up the leader, so I imagine it will have to do a wave through of several cars until it picks up Simon Major, who...
Problem is, they could actually be running around here for a couple of laps, etc., and then find that one or two of them retreated to the pits when the window opens.
Only they can't make their pit stop behind the safety car.
So,
yes.
So you don't know who's read the rules here.
Exactly, right. So there's about 6 cars, I think, that need to be waved through. One driver's got his hand out of the cockpit. I don't know if that's just for the cooling effect. That's William Puttergill, I think, in the number 83 Type R. Let's head back down to the pit lane once again, and let's see who Kieran's got to talk to this time.
Thank you very much. Well, we're down here in the garage of the number 9. We just saw the Civic hurry away under the safety car. I'm here with Kiefer Del Piero. Kiefer, what was the issue that brought you in the pits?
So we believe cylinder 2 was misfiring. We're unsure of what it was. We've done a quick diagnostics with our great team here. We think we've solved it. We've sent Ethan back out, phenomenal driver. I'm sure he'll do great. We're going to treat it a bit more of a test now and hopefully get a good result at the end of it. We've still got a pit stop to go. It's 2 hours. You know, if you watch Le Mans or any other endurance racing, you know anything can happen. That's why we love motorsport. So let's just see what happens.
Absolutely. I think you were telling me, is this your first club enduro race?
It's our first club enduro race, yeah. So we're testing it out for Alton Park next month and Donington. Looking to get good results, but of course you've got to test and understand what's going on. So hopefully we'll do good here and bigger, bright things and a full season next year.
Yeah, and hopefully under the safety car you can sort of understand if the problem's been fixed.
Maybe, it depends. Now we can't pit under safety car to do our regulatory pit stop. However, yeah, we'll understand if there's a problem. We might not have lost too much time, maybe a couple of laps, but Ethan's a quick driver. I'm sure we'll do well.
I'm sure you will. Kiefer, thank you so much for the chat. Enjoy the rest of the race if you can.
Yeah, if I can. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Kiefer. Thank you very much. And it's back to you in the commentary box.
Thanks, Kieran. So safety car train is just skimming past our commentary box, actually. There you can see Matthew Simonite's OnlyFans-sponsored car being recovered by the JCB. So at the end of lap 17, it's number 18, Simon Major, that leads the race from number 1, Scott Parkin in second. Third is number 117, Ian Jones. Fourth is number 6, Ryan Parkin. Fifth is number 34, Greg Saunders. Sixth is 25, Colin Gillespie. Seventh is the 721 car, which is that of Chris Murphy.
And the Henderson Master is back out into the fray.
That is good news, and it has lost 2 laps, I think, only 2 laps. Eighth is number 444, that's Claire Norman starting that car. Ninth is number 82, Ben Williams, and 10th is number 22, Paul Browse. In the classes, Class B is headed by Chris Webster in the Ginetta from Will Pottergill, which is one of the first cars behind the safety car at the moment. Then in third in that class, it's Sandro Ballesteros in the Audi TT. And in Class C, it's still Ash Moore that leads from Daniel Perry and John Peerless. So that's the way of things. We're looking at one of the Motion Motorsport cars there, and that is the 83 car that's in the pits that was leading, or was second, I should say, within Class B, and that's being jacked up now. And again, this cannot be a mandatory stop because A, we've not got to the 30-minute mark in the race yet, and B, the safety car is out there. So looks like they're working on something on the front right of that car. That's a shame, because that's the car leading the Class B Championship coming into this weekend, having won 2 out of the 3 races, has a non-finish at Croft in the opening round of the season when Jonathan Packer won Class B. Class A so far this season, Scott Parkin won at Brands Hatch and won at Snetterton, but at the opening round of the season it was James Collins and Joel Oswick that won at Croft. So 2 of the classes have had a 2-time winner, and Class C has had a 3-time winner in Ashmore and Samuel Dennis, and they are leading Class C here again today. Chris Kimmon is being very busy, and he's got another driver to talk to in the pit lane.
Down here now at the garage of the number 83 Civic. I'm here with Chris Nyland. Chris, can you tell us what the problem was?
Well, Will's just reported a puncture for what he thought was a puncture from the car. Obviously, it's come in. I don't think it is that. There's more mechanical sound, a bit of a knocking or something. So, obviously, the guys are just having a look over the car now. They haven't really reported what it is, to be honest, at the moment.
So it's still investigation. Is it a case of send it out and see what happens now?
I believe so, yeah. We'll see what they do in a moment. Even if they're not happy with it, they're not going to send it out, not with motion anyway. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I suppose as well, under the safety car, you've got, in theory, a little bit more time without losing too many laps.
Yeah, but because it's an unscheduled stop, it's kind of the end of the game, really. I mean, he was doing so well as well. We've gone up from, I think, third, second. We're in second. Lap times are looking good. Cars are really stable. I'm going to say he's calling it a day with him getting out, so unfortunately it's the end of our day, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a shame to see, Chris, but well, hopefully you can enjoy the rest of the afternoon as much as you can.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Great stuff. Thank you for chatting, Chris, and back to you in the commentary box.
Yes, thank you very much. A shame then. It looks like the end of the road for the number 83 Puttergill and Nyland Honda Civic that was going well, second place within Class B. So a few cars seemingly out of contention already in this race.
Yeah, quite a few of the class favourites are hitting trouble.
Yeah, that's right. So we'll see what's going, how things are going to pan out. I think it's still good, looking good though for our overall championship leaders in the Tegiwa Club Enduro Championship as they move into this 4th round. Safety car lights are off, so it looks like we're going to get going this time around.
We've got 1:33, an hour and 33 still to go. In scoots the Renault Megane, and here is our race leader then, Simon Major. But look at that, the Dark Side Developments Audi TT of Scott Parkin is right up his chuff and is not going to let go.
No, there's a bit of a gap there. You can see Ian Jones in the BMW Compact ducking out from behind one of the other cars, and Ryan Parkin trying to do lightweights. They were behind some slower cars, weren't they? So they were a little bit delayed, couldn't really capitalise on the restart to the extent that they would have liked. But we're back green flag racing again with 28 minutes of the race now gone, and 2.5 minutes before the pit lane window opens for the mandatory stops as well. So it's a change of lead. Yes, a change of lead down there. So it's Scott Parkin that's got ahead of Simon Major. So a very good restart for the Dark Side Developments car, Marcus.
Yeah, indeed. He's obviously anticipated that very, very well. But is Major going to come back at him down the hangar straight? He sweeps to the outside, down towards Stowe Corner. It's not close enough, surely, to have a go from there around the outside. But that's where we saw Rob Wellham make the amazing move to win the F1000 finale yesterday. But it is Scott Parkin who hangs on. It's like he needs a line through Vale. But go on. Just
on the screen there, we can see the Class B leader, Chris Webster, got a 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits. So that is going to be to their detriment. I'm just trying to see if there's anyone else within 5 seconds of them in their class, though. Probably there will be for the moment after that safety car period, but maybe not for much longer. But sorry, you were saying, Marcus?
Yeah, it's just looking at Major coming back at Scott Parkin. It will be fiercely hot in the cockpits of those cars, and certainly rather than in the mobile sauna racing.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be very warm in there. I mean, it's a pleasant day. Actually, if you're outside, I think it's quite a nice day. But
sure.
But in the if you're in a car or a commentary box for that matter, it can get a bit on the warm side. There you can see the Alan Henderson car that's back in the race. That just went through shot. So we'll see what that can do, if it can set some decent lap times. It was lost a couple of laps Yeah, but only 2 laps adrift, and certainly will be able to make some forward progress, one would think. There's the 18 car of Major then, and you can see he's about, what, 4 or 5 car lengths behind Scott Parkin.
You almost think at this stage of the race, just happy to track Scott Parkin, provided that no one from behind, that's Ian Jones in the BMW, makes significant inroads into their advantage. It's not a huge advantage, but you can see visually in the shots that Jones is there or thereabouts. The Henderson Mazda is going strongly again, but of course that's playing catch up following its fairly lengthy pit stop.
Worth mentioning as well that Scott Parkin does have a 30-second penalty, a success penalty to serve at the pit stop as well, which is going to be quite tough to make up, one would think. And Simon Major has a lesser penalty, a 10 seconds, so there's basically a 20-second differential between them at the pit stops to be served. So providing Major can keep Scott Parkin in his sights, he should come out of the pit stops in front. But then it'll be down to how well they race, and it's going to be Justin Middleton that's going to take over from Simon Major for the second part of the race. Pit lane window is now open, by the way. A few people have stopped already, but for non-mandatory stops, so we'll keep an eye on our timing screens as well. 2
to 3 lines of traffic making its way round down the Hanger Straight towards so that's the Ivor Mares BMW.
Yeah, it's not got either aboard it though, I don't think.
It's the car that we've seen do anything up to 5 or 6 races in a weekend at Brands Hatch before now.
Yeah, I think either looking at the entrance head was deleted, and it's just Cameron Reed, therefore, that's at the wheel of that car today. There is the Class B leader with its 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits. Yes, Cameron Reed in his first season of racing in that number 316 car, done track days before, he's done some coaching with the Supercar Experience Company, attended a lot of his older brother's racing events in a C1 and the VW Classics, but has only had this car for a few months. But let's head down to the pit lane once again and hear from Kieran.
So I'm down here now at the garage of the 169, the Mazda MX-5, with James Mansell. James, there's a lot of gravel coming on from under the car. What happened out there?
So I hit one of the curbs through the complex a couple of laps ago. I think it knocked the tow arm loose on the back. So I had a couple of laps where the alignment was basically moving every corner. So it was a bit of a struggle to get round. And I just coming into the corner, coming off the back straight. I don't know all the corner names. Coming into the corner off the back straight, it just got really loose. And you know, with the alignment just moving as you're trying to catch it, it was just I just couldn't catch it. So went into gravel at, I don't want to think what speed, but yeah, went into gravel, got covered in gravel and got beached. Couldn't get it back out.
That's a shame, but your team were working very hard to get all the gravel out there. Is this something that you can mend and get back out there?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, like I say, they're getting gravel out. They've got the bumper back on already because that were hanging off. So we're going to have to try and do a super quick alignment. I don't think we've got time to get strings out and stuff, so they're just going to try and get this alignment, make sure it's tight again. It'll be compromised, obviously. It's not going to be pointing straight properly, but it'll get us back out, I think.
Great stuff. And James, I'm sure this won't knock your confidence one bit, will it?
No, it's fine. It's all good.
Great stuff, James. Thank you so much for the chat. Good luck for the rest of the race and hope to see you back out there. Thank you. Thank you very much, James. And it's back to you in the commentary box.
So on screen there, 1 minute stop-and-go penalty for car 62, which is the Lee Dundee Sadler and Andy Gay car. So that'll be for some kind of infringement, either when that car was in the pits or possibly behind the safety car, one might think, something like that.
That came into the pits at the wrong end, which might not have helped.
Yeah, possibly.
Round from first corner at Abbey here.
Yeah, may not have liked that, I guess. So we've got an hour and 25 minutes left to go. It's still Scott Parkin leading by 8/10 from Simon Major. There's the Paul Browse car that's in 10th position at the moment, and it is a lap apart from the car that was with it on track there, which was Ash Moore in that 195 Class C leading Honda Civic. Cars heading on to the hangar straight once again. There is that Browse car. Bright green, it really does stand out, doesn't it? Which is probably why we mentioned it quite a lot. The Stowmarket glass liveried car. Off down through Stowe towards the Vale. Oh, and Henderson has just done a fastest lap of the race in that MX-5, so it's working okay. A 1:11.549, so he reduces his own lap record. It's still in 30th position, still 2 laps off the lead, but the MX-5 seems to be firing on all cylinders.
Hopefully they'll make up a bunch of places, run strongly to the end. I mean, victory's got to be out of the question, hasn't it? But nonetheless, they've laid down a marker with that fastest lap just now. And there's the Stowmarket class Cupra of Paul Browse and his son Luke from Suffolk.
Yeah, quite a few of these TCR cars on the grid. There's lots of TCR cars at Silverstone this weekend. Some on the other end of the circuits as well on the national track today. A great number of them in this Tegiwa Club Enduro Championship. They've proved quite a popular option for Class A TCR based cars. We saw several of them out in road sports yesterday as well.
Yeah, a lot of them about and all over, you know, dotted around Europe, etc. Aren't there? There's some. And
there in the pits is Scott Parkin then from the lead of the race. So this will be for a mandatory stop. It'll be 3 minutes and 30 seconds in his case. He is a solo driver, so he's not going to have to sort of change drivers or anything like that. And with that extra 30 seconds, it means they've got just plenty of time to do everything that they need to. Scott going to get back into the car now. He's 34 years of age, from Barnsley, owner of Dark Side Developments, enjoys racing with his twin brother Ryan. Been racing for 5 years, started out in the Track Day Championship within a Seat B for TDI, and progressed through Golfs and towards this Audi TT TDI into 2017 built car, 2-litre diesel with 340 brake horsepower, and it was built originally by Slide Sports, but the car stripped back to a bare shell and rebuilt by Dark Side Developments with this 2-litre TDI engine sequential gearbox that it has.
That'll have immense torque.
Yeah,
absolutely fantastic sort of diesel engine torque.
Yeah,
and good fuel economy as well.
All important in endurance racing. Yeah. So there's the Mazda MX-5 that was leading in the early stages and is still very much the quickest car out on circuit with a 1:11.549. I think it's only Major that's the other driver into the 1:11s, just a 1:11.997 that he set a while ago. He's still, well, he's now leading as the Thomas Stedman car gets a little bit out of shape through the link and onto the hangar straight. So yeah, there it is, the Alan Henderson MX-5 shared with Daniel Irving, who'll be out for the second part of the race after the mandatory pit stops. Besides Scott Parkin, no one else seems to have taken the option of a pit stop just yet. Plenty of time to take it. You can do it up until the 15 minutes from the end of the race mark. So there's an hour and a quarter in which to make your stop. And many drivers and teams, I imagine, will go reasonably close to the 1 hour mark, especially if they're trying to split the drive between two drivers. You might be contributing equally financially to the race weekend. So that's the leading car going through. There is the Jones car, and that's interesting because the Jones BMW Compact was now very close, as you can see. There it is. It's just going past that orange Audi TT. There was 0.8 of a second between them at the start of the lap, and not much more than that now. The Browse car is into the pit lane. That'll be to hand over to Luke. He'll do that momentarily. You can see Scott Parkin still in the pit lane as well. But just about to come through Club Corner, I think, is going to be our race leader. Not quite there yet. But anyway, we'll pick up on that in a moment. We're watching the 55 car go through, which is the car that Paul Simerson started, the BMW M4 GT4, a car that's come out for the first time this season in Tegiwa Club Enduro. And good to have Paul Simerson there, the 47-year-old from Leicester. Started racing in the Ferrari Challenge in 2018, did about 5 or 6 years of that, including at the support race at Le Mans in 2023. But he had a nasty injury after a crash at Spa in the final race of last year, so good to get him back out. Right, further problems for the 62 car, which has got a 45.1 second time penalty now because they got a stop-go penalty wrong. Right, here are yes, that's Ryan Parkin just going through in third, isn't it? That's the 197 car, which is I think a lapped car, is it not, of Daniel Jude? Yes, it is. Just looking to see where the leaders are, because they should be quite close together. And yeah, there they are at the back of the shot. Yeah, we're not quite going to follow them around, unfortunately, which is Simon Major and Ian Jones, who, as they go on to a new lap, are separated by less than 1 second.
Yeah, very close together, and lapping them. 4 abreast coming up here towards Abbey.
Including Scott Parkin, who's now back out into the race then in that number 1 car. So he gets clears a bit of traffic as quickly as he possibly can. So where has he come back in? He's come back in behind actually the MX-5, so it's more than 2 laps that you lose, close to 3 laps that you'll lose, especially if you've got a 3-minute 30-second stop within the mandatory stops, and he's now showing on our timing screens in 30th position, but one of the few drivers to have made stops.
Yes, I mean that pit stop window will all kind of, the stagger will unwind, and it'll shoot up the order, but to an extent, to see again the Mazda comes out onto the hanger straight, gets a little bit of oversteer as it comes out over a slight camber there.
It did a slow lap the last time through, though, the Mazda 129, which makes me a little bit worried about it, because it had been doing 111s, so we'll keep an eye
18
on
seconds,
that.
yeah, very long.
Yeah, a long delay. So with a Scott Parkin going through there, we think there might be a car stopped at Chapel at the exit of the link, but we can't, it's not within the range of our cameras, but we do think there's a car missing. It's possibly the number 183 car. That's got a little warning triangle next to it on our timing screen, which is the Edward Cook car. The 183 car, that's the Scirocco that, I think the green Scirocco, wasn't it, that was going well in the early stage today. So that might be stopped just out of the range of our cameras.
It's interesting because I don't see too much in the way of flags there suggesting that there's a caution.
It could be so far right, at that part of the circuit as well, with the BMW having had a spin. And keen, if we can, to try and pick up the leader, because there's only 0.8 of a second between Simon Major and Ian Jones in the BMW Compact. Just trying to work out where they are on circuit at the moment. And they're just coming through Abbey now. They're heading down towards Village, so we'll see if we can pick them up. Here they are, then the 2 leaders. They're just in behind the number 55 Simerson car. Major up the inside of it, and Ian Jones follows, sometime Compact Cup racer. But yeah, these are the 2 leaders, and that BMW has gone really well to get within half a second now of the race leader, Marcus.
Yeah, and he's concentrating now very much on reading the circuit ahead, looking up past the race leader to the traffic they are approaching as they come to Stowe. There's quite a heavy group of them, and right under the wing of the Cupra there was Ian Jones, and that's very muscular looking BMW Compact. Down into Vale. You don't want to catch really slow cars or cars that are sort of jostling to position there. You'd rather wait till the next of the straights if you can to pick your way safely through. They're going past the Mayor's team BMW as a first move.
I'll be intrigued to see the relative pace of the two second drivers. I think probably, certainly Simon Major is probably the quickest of the two drivers in that team, and Ian Jones certainly is in the BMW number 117, but the relative pace of the two drivers in the second part of the race could be very important. Here with the two leads, and they're right in traffic as well. That's the 777 Golf, I think, that they, of Rob Andrade and Andrew Fletcher, that they're about to pass. They do pass, and Ian Jones dives out of the slipstream here, tries to get alongside Simon Major down into Stowe Corner and disappears out of shot. He's gone so wide into the corner, but couldn't get through that. Another BMW ahead of them that they need to try and lap as well.
It's a fascinating dynamic, this dice, isn't it? Because look at the physical size of the Cupra, the Seat Cupra there, and the BMW looks, dare I say it, compact in comparison.
Yes.
And tracking the leader relentlessly there is Ian Jones.
0.2 of a second the gap at the end of that lap, both in the mid 114s as they work their way through traffic that time. They're coming up to lap the Edward Christie BMW now. Quite a few BMWs on this race of various
Parkin Brichter Audi TT is now in the pits, the number 6 car.
Yes, that'll be Ryan to hand over to Dylan Brichter for the second, well, not half of the race, because there's still about, what have we got, 62% of it to go, according to the timing bar on the timing screen. So more than half of the race to go for Dylan Brichter. Oh, and a spin for Scott Parkin in the background there. Scott Parkin has spun at the exit of the link, and he is able to get the car turned around. Oh, that's very strange. It looks to be all on his own as well. A few cars going a bit wider there. There's some flow down on the circuit.
Slippery surface there.
Well, that's also where we thought there was might have been a car stopped a bit further around the corner.
Yeah, and again, you saw Jones there slide down onto the curbs, and it wasn't like he just ran out of road. It kind of literally understeered and went up the curb, so lots of drama.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of green on the timing screen. There's lots of yellow, which tends to suggest that there are a few drivers improving their lap times. So maybe there is something down on the circuit. I'll board with Ryan Parkin then, or sorry, Dylan Brichter as it will now be, having taken over from Ryan Parkin and gone out into the race. Just passing this Golf down the hang straight, blue flags waving. There, I think I just saw on the right-hand side of shot, the green car. That will have been the Scirocco that had stopped. So it was in a slightly different place than we thought, but it was on the opposite side. But yeah, just out of range of our cameras on the hang strip. But we've picked it up thanks to the onboard camera on Dylan Brichter's car there that has resumed the race ahead of Scott as well, and that's because they did not have a penalty to serve at the pit stop. It was just a 3-minute dead stop for them, rather than 3-minute 30 as Scott had to serve. And there's Claire Norman. She's into the pits to hand over to Alan Blanco. Claire getting out of the car.
We were teammates in the VW Polo Cup a long, long time ago. The G40 series?
Yes, that's right. It's a good little championship that was, very exciting. So drivers have to be out of the car while work is done on the car, particularly the refuelling. See the big fan there just to help the cooling while the car is stationary. To hopefully prevent any overheating. Looks like they're doing a wheel change there on the left front on that car as well.
Yes, that would be consistent with the loading around this circuit. There we go. Very, very close.
Yeah, and that's Major, and it's Dylan Brichter, isn't it? They are 3 laps apart, those two. But now Brichter getting in between the two race leaders.
Wasn't much room left there, was there?
Not a lot. It's almost like Brichter was battling for position here, but alas he's not, because he's served his stop, and still one of the very few that have perhaps a a quarter, if that, of the cars have stopped so far. For a mandatory stop at least, so not too many going early. I think in the next 10 minutes or so we'll see a bit more activity down there in the pit lane. Let's head down to the pit lane once again. Kieran McGinley has found someone else to chat to.
Right, I'm down here now in the number 6 garage, the Audi TT. Ryan Parkin is here, just out of the car. Ryan, how was that stint for you? Because you ended up 3rd overall after that.
Yeah, sweaty, but yeah, it was good. I think that was as quick as the car were going to go. I was trying my best to manage the tyres, because these Yokohama tyres are the quickest ones you can get, but you've really got to be careful not to overheat them and they just go crazy. Yeah, managing them, I wanted a bit more camber this morning, but the guys, with no testing, didn't want to give it me, even though I'd have took that on the chin if it would have been too bad. But yeah, they didn't give it me, and then straight away I'm like, we could have done with that. Yeah, the track feels pretty slippy. Yeah, I think it feels good otherwise. The guys who were in front, Scott included, I just don't think I've got the measure of them, so yeah. See what Dylan can do. Yeah,
I mean, Dylan's in now. What can he do? What do you reckon?
I think at the worst he'll stay where we were, but I think there's a chance he can get up there with a little bit of bad luck from somebody else maybe. But I think if everybody does what they've already been doing, 3rd's as good as it's going to get, I think.
I think you'll probably need a cool down as well as a cool down there, because Scott, we saw, had a couple of issues, a spin at the link.
Yeah, somebody's just running to the side of Scott. I think they've understeered into him, some back marker or somebody, I'm not sure. But it's one of them things in multi-class racing. But it looks like he's got a ton of toe in on his rear wheel now, so it's really slowing him down. But he'll keep going until end now. As long as tyre don't fall off, he'll be fine.
Well, Ryan, good luck for the rest of your race.
Thank you very much. Well, I'm getting in the Swift next as well.
You are as well, yeah. I mean, the Swift's there. I mean, I was just going to ask you. I will try to find one of you at lunch, but
I saw the live stream, but it's a little bit delayed, so you'd gone by the time we come back into the garage. But
looking forward to getting behind the wheel of one of those.
Yeah, it was pretty good fun. Obviously, what we've got is faster, but when there's 30 cars all going the same speed, it makes no difference. You still have a lot of fun. So yeah, really looking forward to it. I think we might build one next year, maybe. We'll see. See what happens.
Well, good luck for that race as well, and good luck for this one.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's 1-for-1 with me and Scott in them, so whoever wins takes the glory in the Swifts.
Game on.
Yes, exactly.
Thanks, Ryan. Cheers for that. Back to you in the commentary box.
Thanks, Kieran. Good to hear from Ryan Parkin down there. He's out of the car, Dylan Brichter's taken over. And just hearing that, so sounded like Scott did have some contact with another car, which possibly caused that moment for him and lost him a bit of time. So order is still Simon Major leading in number 18. He's got now a bit more of a gap, 1.6 seconds over Ian Jones in 2nd. Greg Saunders is up to 3rd, Colin Gillespie 4th, Chris Murphy 5th and Ben Williams 6th. Class B, that's still being led by Chris Webster, but he only has a relatively narrow lead over Sandro Ballesteros in that class, and 3rd in that class is the number 88 car, which is Joe Williams in the Golf, and Class C is being led still by Ash Moore from Daniel Perry and John Peerless. That's the order of things across the 3 different classes, as we have 67 minutes of this 2-hour race left to go. And the lead out to 2.3 seconds now, so another 6/10 advanced by Major on that last lap. It's the number 34 car just going through shot briefly. There is Scott Parkin, number 1, heading through club corner now. He's up to 21st position. He is, of the cars that have made their stops, only 3rd. One of them is still in the pits, but that will be because well, actually, I'm including the other Henderson car. That doesn't count because it wasn't a mandatory stop. So 2nd is of the cars that have pitted, I reckon, behind the car that was driven firstly by his brother Ryan Parkin and Dylan Brichter now as well. There's the 19 car going back out into the race. That's that beautifully turned out orange Audi TT, Wayne Lawson, and I think James Pickford getting into that car. for the second part of this race.
He was a very quick young single-seater driver, wasn't he?
Well, he drove in the predecessor to F1000, didn't he? Probably when it was called, whether it's Formula Jedi or Formula Honda at that point. Can't quite remember, but yeah, he certainly did drive for those Jedis for a while and did other things in single-seater racing as well. So very useful driver indeed, taking over that orange Audi TT at number 19, which is now in 29th position, having served its stop in 6 laps behind the leader, but realistically probably 3 laps off the pace, because a pit stop costs you about 3 laps.
The Mazda still banging around at a very strong pace, gradually moving back up the order. Anderson and Irving 14th at the moment, just gained another place. Of course, lost ground with that unscheduled pit stop.
Yes, it was. He started racing in 1997, James Pickford, in Formula Honda, as it was known as the time, when the Jedis ran the Honda engines. And he won that 2 years in a row. Okay, back down to the pit lane. Kieran McGinley's there once again.
I'm at the garage now of the 777 with Rob Andrade. Rob, you finished your stint there just outside of the Class B podium. What's the push now? Can you get that podium?
We're going to try. We're going to try. It's getting harder and harder. We're suffering a bit of understeer out there. I've got my partner now that's in the car, so new tyres. Hopefully he'll be able to push that a bit more and hit a podium, you know.
Yeah, a couple of drivers have been saying the track's quite slippery. Is that something you agree with?
Yeah, I have to agree. Very slippery, and we were suffering understeer as well, which doesn't help, you know. So, yeah, definitely agree. It's very slippery out there.
How would you sum up your first stint then?
Yeah, pretty good. Having a little battle there with Packer, who's in the same class as myself, you know, swapping positions and just trying to gain some pace, you know.
So what do you reckon then? Can Andrew get you on the podium?
I hope so. I hope so. It's all down to him now. He's got a fresh set of rubber on, so hopefully, yeah.
There you go. The gauntlet's down then.
Sorry?
The gauntlet's down then.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
The gauntlet down. The challenge is down then.
Challenge down. Yeah, gauntlet's down. So hopefully he'll get us on there. Yeah. Hopefully.
Brilliant stuff, Rob. Thank you very much. Rob, thanks for the chat. Good luck for the rest of the race.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and it's back to you in the commentary box.
Thanks, Kieran. As we are working lap 43 here, Greg Saunders, he's headed into the pit lane now. So too is Matthew Stockford. He's going to hand over to Alan James. He's up to 8th position, but still it's Simon Major leading from Ian Jones. The gap still around about 2 seconds between them. And there's Ben Williams. Now he has yet to make his stop, but somehow has found himself back on track in the same piece of tarmac as the Stowmarket Glass car, now being driven by Luke Brow, as those cars were close together before the stops as well.
That Matthew Stockford, Alan James Audi is the intriguing one with all the hand-controlled
that's
system,
right,
isn't it, on for Matthew Stockford, the former Paralympian skier.
That's right.
And they drive it in the at Castle Coombe occasionally in that Dave Allen Memorial Trophy race, and do very well with it.
Yeah.
TCR type car.
It is, yeah. Audi R8 based TCR.
Team Dynamics, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So there's a front right being changed on the Greg Saunders car. I don't know if the front left has been changed as well. Getting everything connected back up. Now the driver's back in the car. Getting ready to release it out into the race. You can see the cars coming in at this 45-degree angle, and they have to push back out into the race.
Different motorcycle manufacturers. Gas, the trial spikes. Husqvarna, the Swedish sewing machine to motorcycle manufacturer, KTM, the Austrian brand.
Yeah, that's right. Another car about to come in by the looks of it. On board with Dylan Brickton now, number 6. Where's Dylan up to in this race? He's in 15th position now. of course, having served its stop and in a pretty good place. I think that's the BMW Compact that's in second place just up ahead, isn't it? Because they weren't very close together on track, so Britt is keeping good pace with the two leading cars by the looks of it. There's 25 that's into the pit lane now. That's Colin Gillespie, the car being refuelled before it is handed over to the second driver, which is Alok Iyengar, the sometime F1000 driver from India. We'll hopefully hear from Colin in just a moment. I can see that Kieran's lining up the interview. Fuel still going in to make sure there's enough to get to the end of the race. There is almost exactly an hour left to go, so we're basically halfway through this race. You can see the precautions being taken while the fuel is going in. Alok there waiting by the sides of the car before he's allowed to get in. And looking forward to his stint. 45 laps now completed by the race leader. So Gillespie, that car I think was in 4th place before the stops. Having dropped back down on the timing screen, of course, as a result of being in the pit lane. Checking Class B situation, that's still Webster and Tidmarsh. They've yet to make their stop, and in Class C, Moore and Dennis. They're in the pit lane right now, actually. The Class C and the overall championship leaders, number 195, they are in the pits as we speak. So hopefully a smooth stop for them. There's Dylan Brichter going through. There's Luke Browse. So several cars together that will be lapping in a similar kind of pace. Trouble 4 car going through. That's Alan Blanco now at the wheel of that Cupra, having taken over from Claire Norman, ex-British Touring Car Championship driver that started racing back in 1999 with 750 Motor Club Stock Cat. She was 4th overall in a Peugeot 205 GTI. And then he raced in the Ford Credit Fiesta Championship. And then, of course, British Touring Cars in 2022 in a production Alfa Romeo and the Civic Type R the next year. But let's head down to Kieran in the pits once again.
Down here now at the Seat, the number 25 garage, I've got Colin Gillespie, who's just jumped out of the car. Colin, how was your first stint?
Amazing. The car's been fantastic. The team's been just on par. Yesterday we got the pole, a 3rd in class. Yesterday, so yeah, the car's really well. It's a little bit hot. I can feel the back tyres going off, so we've wanted them to get changed. So I've got new ones on the front and part worn on the back, just so the second driver's got a chance to keep the momentum going.
So Ilko's getting in the car now. How do you think he'll do in the second stint?
He'll be very close to me. We're so close. We're only 10ths within qualifying. I think he's slightly quicker. So fingers crossed if we can bring it home in 3rd, I would be very happy because it's my birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday. What a great way to celebrate.
Yeah, well, we got a trophy yesterday. If we can get a trophy today, wow, what a way to go. So, yeah, 62 today, so chuffed to bits.
Oh, brilliant stuff. Well, happy birthday as Akko gets back out there. Good luck to you for the rest of the race.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thank you very much, Colin. It's back to you in the commentary box.
Yes, thank you very much indeed, Kieran. We're hearing from lots of drivers out there. Oh, and the Browse car is in trouble. Number 22, Luke Browse. He's got the left-hand indicator on. He's going to pull off, I think. Is he going to pull off? No, he's just keeping out of the way down there at Stowe Corner, but it looks like he's going to limp that car home to the pit lane. So a great shame that, oh, actually, the car might be back up to speed now, so maybe it was just something that needed resetting. So he's not going to go into the pit lane. So maybe just an intermittent issue. There are other cars heading into the pit lane behind him, but the Stowmarket Glass car is continuing for the moment at least. We'll see if another problem afflicts it later in the race. There's the Mazda number 90 that is continuing on of Alan Henderson, having made that early pit stop. Where's he up to now? He is actually well up the order into 8th position overall as they make their way around. There's the 77 car into the pits. That's Daniel Perry and Jez Banks that are sharing that car. Daniel Perry started it. Jez Banks getting into the car for the second half of the race. You can see the fuel going in through the fuel jug system. Driver has to be out of the car while this is happening, of course. And as soon as the fuel's in, they'll get the driver in and then be ready to get out in the second half of the race. You can see there, they have to be on hand with the extinguisher to make sure that if there is any fuel spillage, then they're poised and ready for action. 55 car, the Silverstone car, is into the pit lane now as well. Still though, the two leaders, Major and Jones, are not yet into the pit lane. And then it's Murphy is up to third place now. Chris Murphy up to third position with other cars having made their stops. I would say now about 80% of the drivers, 80% of the teams have made their stops, as we have only 55 minutes of this race left to go. Fuel still going in. It does go in for quite a while, doesn't it, on these cars? Right, there is the 92 car circulating, which is that of Phil Nibb and Andrew Rath. Now, how are they faring in this race? I think, have they been into the pits? Yes, they have. So it's going to be Phil Nibb now at the wheel of that car, and he is in 14th position. As the cars make their way through Village, as we can see them on screen now. Heading down towards the hairpin, there's Dylan Brichter going through. Just looking to see how Scott Parkin is faring at the moment. Well, he's up to 12th place, and I think is third of the genuine stoppers. So it's effectively, I think, Brichter that's leading from Saunders in second and Scott Parkin in third of drivers that have made and completed their legitimate stops. And how much is there between them? There's 11 seconds between Brichter and Saunders, and another 15 seconds between Saunders and Parkin by the looks of things at the moment. As we have 54 minutes of this race left to go here at Silverstone. It's Tegiwa Club Enduro Championship race. There's the Browse car that's been was in a trouble a little while ago. It seems to be back up to speed now. It's being pursued by the Henderson Mazda, which I was a bit concerned about a while ago. It did a slow lap time, but it seems to be back to respectable lap time as well, if not down to the ultimate pace of the 1:11.549 that it managed earlier. There you can see busy pit lane, including the Class B leading car that has been into the pits, is just about to come out of the pits, having completed its stop and getting back out into the race. So that's the number 8 car, which Matthew Tidmarsh will have taken over in that car now. But still quite a few cars in the pit lane. There's, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, perhaps 7 cars that have still yet to make their stop out of the 38 that started here in this Tegiwa Club Enduro race. Just looking at Class C, yes, the Class C lead has been taken by Peerless and Stelling, but they are now in the pits. So once they have served their stop, I think they'll probably drop back behind the other car, which is of the other 2 cars, which are Moore and Dennis. Yes, I think they'll resume. No, actually they won't, I don't think. I think it's going to be Perry and Banks in the Ginetta that will emerge with the Class C lead, because I think Dennis and Moore, they had to serve, yes, a 30-second pit stop penalty, so that will have set them back somewhat.
John Piller's one of those drivers who's come through the club over the years, had a stock hatch, didn't he, for a while?
Yeah, did have a stock hatch, that's right.
Very competitive days they were too.
It's interesting, isn't it? You have drivers that start their racing with a 750 Motor Club, go away and sometimes come back, don't they?
Yeah, very much so. They find an environment that they're comfortable in, one where racing is as accessible, made to be as accessible and fair as it can be, and really, why look elsewhere if you're having a good time with your mates and come back for more. Aspire maybe to a more advanced series, but this is a great one.
And that's the beauty of the 750 Motor Club, runs more than 20 different series and championships now. There really is something for everyone, and there is something to develop into. We saw, for example, a lot of drivers gravitate to F1000 after that joined the 750 Motor Club roster. You're racing a variety of different things beforehand, sports specials and sports 1000s and Formula V and so forth. And there's the leader into the pits now. So number 18, Simon Majors, into the pits, and so too, I think, is Ian Jones, number 117
yes,
from
I saw that BMW in
second place. Yeah, so that means it's now the number 721 car of Chris Murphy, the E36 M3, that moves into the lead of the race, and it's going to be the number 18 car is going to be taken over by Justin Middleton, or Dingo as he seems to go by, looking at the name on the side of the car. And he goes back out into the race.
Yeah, Chris Murphy, the local driver from Kidlington.
Yeah, down there in Oxfordshire. And there's the 117 car going back out. So that's going to be Martin Gadsby now at the wheel of that car for the remaining 50 minutes of the race.
Meaty looking device, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Big engine and...
yeah. 2.8 litre engine. Developed significantly from the standard compact Cup cars. That's the Ginetta, which I'm just looking to see where that's going to be in Class B. Currently third in Class B, Webster and Tidmarsh, but the car, two cars ahead of it, have yet to make their stops. Yeah.
At the moment.
I think it'll come back out in the lead once everyone has made their stops. There's still another 34 minutes in which drivers can make their pit stops as well. So it might not be for a little while that we know the true running order within that class. We're going to go down to the pit lane again now, because Kieran McGinley has got another interview for us.
Down in the pit lane of the number 18, I'm here with Simon Majors. Simon, you brought that car in, you were leading the race. How was your first stint?
Yeah, it was good. It all went to plan. It wasn't easy. Obviously, we were having a good old battle there with first, I think it was Scott, and then there was a BMW seriously on my case. Obviously, we had a safety car, so that enabled Scott to pass me. I felt a bit of a vibration on the restart, so I thought I'd better play it safe. So I let Scott go. But then the vibration went, so it's probably just tyre pickup. But it's a long race, it's better to be safe. And then, to be honest, I was enjoying the battle with Scott there. It's mega and really good fun.
Yeah, I mean, it looks it as well. Hot out there, I'm guessing. That's a comment from other drivers as well.
Yeah, very hot. I mean, the last race at Snetterton, I suffered really badly with heat exhaustion. So I'm actually a little bit new to racing. So, you know, it's a learning experience, and that's the first time I've driven for that length of time. And I'm not getting any younger, obviously. So I suffered. I didn't take on enough fluids. So today, I made sure we got a drinks bottle in there, and I've been swigging that away all race. So I feel a lot better. It's still very hot though.
Still very hot. Justin's now in the car, Justin Middleton. What's the sort of aim now? Where do you go from here? Can you get the win?
I think the win's going to be difficult. You know, Dingo, to be fair, is a little bit new to racing, even newer than me. He's a rally boy like myself. And we're learning all the time, but you know, he hasn't had much time in the car, not as much as me. But if we could come away with a podium, I'd be really happy, as we did last time. But you never know what might happen. It's a long race, but there's some quick boys out there. So I think we've had a couple of retirements already, so you never know what will happen. We just got to try to be there at the end, I guess.
Great stuff, Simon. Thank you so much for the chat. Enjoy the rest of the race.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Simon. It's back to our commentary box.
Thank you very much. As we are into the last 50 minutes, well 47 minutes in fact, of this race now. The Tegiwa Club Enduro Championship race here at Silverstone. It's round 4 of the championship, a 6-round competition this season. Drivers count their best 5 scores out of 6 races at the end of the year. Next race will be at Alton Park in September, and Donington Park on the Grand Prix circuit complete the season in October. And at the moment, it's looking like it's going to be Ashmore and Sam Dennis, because they're still going strongly in Class C. They are back into the lead of Class C now. Sam Dennis now at the wheel of that car, looking to continue their 100% winning record for this season. We've won 3 out of 3 races so far at Croft, Brands Hatch and Snetterton, and looking to continue that with a 4th win here at Silverstone today in Class C.
The Mazda's back up to 2nd overall, and the car ahead of it, Ballesteros, that car has stopped, one of the last to make it stopped, but the Mazda hasn't made
That's right.
its definitive stop yet. It's
No.
made the non-scheduled one. It's lost its time.
That's right. That's right.
There's a stud missing on the wheel of this car. It's
Yes.
a slight worry.
That's Larry Cosmin's Ford Fiesta that looks in great shape, that car, but for the left front wheel. So whether that's going to be race over for that car or not, I'm not quite sure, but it's certainly in the pits now. It's making its first stop, so this would be the mandatory stop if they can get that car safely back out into the race. So that's car number 3 that runs within Class B. 3 classes based on power to weight ratio within the Tegiwa Club Enduro Championship. 3/4 hours left to go in this 2-hour race. So down to the scheduled length of yesterday's road sports race, although it was eventually split in 2 due to a stoppage. We ended up with just a 15-minute sprint. There's Scott Parkin going through shot. Just probably very shortly we'll have a much better idea of where things are in terms of the order, because as Marcus mentioned, Ballesteros is pretty much the last car to make its scheduled stop. The only one that still needs to do so is the number 88 Joe Williams Golf that is currently showing on the timing screens as leading Class B, and also leading the Clubman's Cup as well. But that still needs to make its mandatory pit stop, the Joe Williams Golf.
Car going very slowly past the pits now by the looks of things.
It sort of looks Mazda MX-5 shaped to me.
It is very much Mazda MX-5 shaped, and it's grinding to a halt by the looks of things.
Yeah, that is the Alan Henderson Mazda MX-5 there. It is. Yeah, it's just pulling off onto the grass, getting out of the way. And I guess it will probably just try and pull into the sort of exit. Just get behind the barrier there. Yeah, it's exactly what he's doing.
That's curtains, isn't it?
Yeah, and it was still Henderson aboard that car. He'd not made the mandatory stop to hand over to Daniel Hughes. So that was the car that was leading, actually, because it hadn't made its mandatory stop.
Yes,
so
that made a stop, but not the real one.
Yeah, so the AK Automotive car is out of the race. Yellow flags at Abbey are covering that. Just a single waved yellow there, so thinks there'll be no marshals over at that part of the circuit to move that car, so hopefully it can just be quite out of harm's way locally. So it makes things a little bit easier in some ways, because we can just ignore that now from the timing screen. So it's after the pit stops then, it is Major that is still leading then, but only by 4.8 seconds from Ryan Parker, sorry, Dylan Brickter now is in second place, so it's Middleton from Brickter, I should say. Then it's Greg Saunders in 3rd, then it is Martin Gadsby in 4th, Scott Parkin will be 5th. So that will be the order of things.
There you go.
Now.
Brickter now only 2.6 seconds behind.
Yeah, behind Middleton as it now is. As there's the last car making its stop, really. That's Joe Williams in the number 88 Golf, the Williams race team. I'm sure I've heard that name before in the context of a racing team. But 2 jugs of fuel going in by the looks of it for this remaining 42 minutes of the race. But yeah, very close now between Major. Between Middleton and Brickter. In fact, those were the 2 cars that we just saw going through.
Yeah, they're together they're not physically together, but they are adjacent on track, with a few lengths between them. So Dylan Brickter closing in on Middleton.
We might pick this up at Stowe in a moment if we can, because that's where they'll be heading now. Those 2 leaders, to see if that gap is coming down. They've already gone through, so we'll pick them up instead as they come down to Club Corner. There is Major, or Middleton I should say, and there is Brichter right behind him. Major in the white Seat, Brichter in the black Audi, the black and red Audi, the dark side developments car number 6. So this is the battle for the lead, and that's gone down by another second on the lap to 1.6 seconds, Marcus.
Yeah, so the chase is on, and as Simon Major is saying, a podium would be great out of this, but it's a young team as such. They're going well.
Yeah, inexperienced team. Middleton, as someone was saying, also an ex-rally man, like Simon himself. The Audi TT, they're leaping out of the way with James Pickford aboard. So here they come then, and they're almost together now, aren't they, those two leaders, Middleton and Brichter, as they head down the straight towards Stowe. And then there's another sort of 17 or 18 seconds back to Greg Saunders in third place. Here they are then, the leaders, with other relatively quick cars ahead of them as well, including the 82 car of Ben Williams, another of the TCRs, but he's basically a lap down now, I think, in sixth position, or nearly a lap down in sixth position in this race, looking at the timing screen. I think we've just got the top 5 on the lead lap. That time the gap came down another half a second to 1.1 seconds, and it's a busy piece of circuit, this.
It's hugely busy. Every time you get around another corner into another slow section of the circuit, pick up another gaggle of traffic. Here's Middleton, who's just trying to pick his way through. Just taking care to keep the car on the island.
And if he's an experienced driver, he'll be struggling to find his way through traffic, and it looks like Brichter's going to take advantage of that. He is more experienced.
Came down the outside, didn't he?
He has. He's done quite a few Burkitt relay races as well. I seem to remember Dylan Brichter. And he has gone through to take the lead of the race then. So Dylan Brichter and Ryan Parkin sharing that car. It's now Brichter in the lead of the race. Major and Middleton down into second.
And that's done on the Hangar Straight on that lap 60 of this 2-hour race. 39 minutes to go.
That's right. So down towards the Vale they come. Still to get past that Ben Williams car, which is lapping in sort of similar kind of lap times to the race leading car at the moment, making it a bit of a challenge to get past. And also the BMW just ahead of that as well, which is the Chris Murphy car, isn't it, which did lead briefly. So that's the car in 6th place. So it's 6th and 7th, those two, and it's off the road now, Chris Murphy in his BMW 3 Series. As that might be more than just an off. It could be a problem with the car.
It looks like that might have been deliberate.
Yeah, he's just stopped the car now. As we see then Dylan Brichter going through. He's now cleared that Ben Williams Cupra as well. There is the Chris Murphy car that's pulled off. Plain white WM3 E36. Pulled off there at Farm. Probably just below our commentary box somewhere, not too far away from here. Not through, we can see it might just be around the corner from where we are. So Brichter it is now that leads, and in second place Middleton. Just looking at who's won the races outright so far during the course of this year. We've had 3 meetings, as we've said. Well, it was James Collins and Joel Oswick that won at Croft, and it was Scott Parkin that's won the following 2 races at Brands Hatch and at Snetterton. This combination of Ryan Parkin and Dylan Brichter, they were second, their best result of the season at Snetterton. Major and Middleton, they had a 3rd place at Snet. It was at Brands, sorry, that Parkin and Brichter had their 2nd place. But looking possibly on for a win here. Just try to see what Scott Parkin is doing. He's in 4th place. He's 24 seconds behind the leader. There are 37 minutes of the race to go, which is going to equate to probably 30 laps or so.
Top 4 cars in, all lapping in the 14s. So
yeah,
nothing much. There's nothing much in the differential between their lap times, but they're all negotiating traffic pretty much every corner.
Yeah, so it's hard to see that Scott Parkin is going to make up too much ground. I mean, interestingly, he's 23 seconds behind, and of course he had the 30-second pit stop penalty to serve, and if it wasn't for that, he'd have been leading this race. So goes to show that the pit stop penalty system does a good job of mixing up the likely race winners. There is Scott Parkin now. We're watching him go through Stowe Corner, car number 1.
His next target is Saunders, but at the moment Saunders is what, 5.7 seconds up the road.
Yeah, and the gap not coming down at a particularly quick rate. Saunders on the last lap did 14.4, Parkin at 14.1, so it's going to take several laps to make up that kind of ground at this stage of the race, with that rate of progress being made. There's the 117 car, which is Gadsby, so he's running 5th now. He is about 4 seconds behind Scott Parkin, isn't he? And it's basically just those 5 that are on the leading lap here at this stage of the race.
That's where the podium's going to come from then, unless there's dramatic developments.
Just to look at the situation of the classes now, that the pit stops have settled themselves down. Class B is being led by Matthew Tidmarsh, who's taken over from Chris Webster. That's in the Gulf livery Ginetta, number 8. Second within that class is now Louis Woodward in the BMW M235i that is shown with Toby Partridge, that was out in Road Sports yesterday as well. And third within that class, Andrew Fletcher and Robert Andrade. Andrew Fletcher having taken over the Treble 7 car, the VW Golf that they're racing. So that's the top 3 in Class B. And in Class C, well, it's looking good for another win here for Ashmore and Sam Dennis. Sam Dennis now at the wheel of that car. Second within Class C, Johnny Hayes, who's now at the wheel of the BMW, having taken over from Paul Subiani. And third within Class C is Matthew Stedding, who's taken over from John Peerless in the Honda. So really, Classes A or Class C is going to form here. And Classes A and B, well, it's not quite as expected. So Parkin and Brichter coming into this weekend were well down within the class, because they'd only really had one finish so far this season at Brands Hatch. So they'll be happy just to get to the end of the race, one would think, and especially getting a win. That would be the icing on the cake, wouldn't it? So they're well down.
Scott Parkin has taken a second or so back. He's sort of 4 down now on Saunders. The battle for third place, 34 Saunders, 1 is Scott Parkin. There is Parkin on our screens.
Yeah, and even if Scott finishes 4th in this race, which he might well do, he might get 3rd here, but even if he finishes 4th, the 3 drivers ahead of him on the road are not, in contention with him in the championship. So he'll continue to extend his lead within Class A. And Class B, as we've said, that at the moment is the Tidmarsh and Webster car. They are 3rd within the class, with Chris Nyland and Will Putgill retiring. I think it's a possibility that Tidmarsh and Webster will take the lead in the Class B Championship in the Flying Tangerine Racing Ginetta G40.
6 of the top 7 lapped in the 13s last time round, the exception being Saunders, who's in the 14s. That may have been impeded.
Safety car is coming out. Ooh. By the looks of it. We've got the yellow flags and the safety car boards being shown beneath us. It's not triggered on the timing screen yet, but we can certainly see that now, and yellow flags all around the circuit. Yep, it's now appeared on the screen as well. So safety car is out. It is. I think everyone had made their mandatory stops, but even if you hadn't, you couldn't make it now behind the safety car. It does close the pack up. Now there'll be traffic and slower cars between the quicker cars, but it does open things up a little bit for the likes of Scott Parkin, doesn't it?
It does, and there's every possibility now with a little bit of aid to bring the pack back together out front. And we've got how many? We've got those 4 cars on the lead lap, 5 cars on the lead lap now that Jones and Gadsby have completed their 65th lap.
Trying to work out what this is for. I mean, I don't think there's anybody else that has gone missing since Chris Murphy's BMW, but that was a few minutes ago now.
And Irvin's been gone for a while.
Yeah, and that's again just outside our commentary box, the other side of the track from where we are at Abbey. But I can't see anyone else that's got the little exclamation mark, the little warning triangle by their name. There's a car on the second screen, but that's one that disappeared a long while ago.
You go and look out of the corner.
Okay, so we'll go and have a look, see if we can spot what's going on out of the window. While we're doing that, we're going to go down to Kieran McGinley in the pit lane.
So I'm down here now at the garage of our Class Leaders, the number 195. I'm here with Ash Moore. Ash, it's going well for you so far, but you've had a bit of an eventful weekend, it's fair to say.
Yeah, definitely. Sam had a race in Road Sports yesterday. Unfortunately, a car span in front of him, which he made contact with. But the boys at Motion Motorsport rebuilt the car overnight, stayed here, even missed their barbecue, so we're massively thankful for them. But yeah, got the car rebuilt, went out this morning, and yeah, we're doing okay at the moment. Just need to keep it going. Safety car out at the moment, so we'll have to see how that plays out for us. But yeah, hopefully we should be good.
Yeah, Sam's out there right now then. I suppose it's going to be a march to another victory, you'll hope.
Yeah, we can hope so. Obviously, the car is definitely just needs a bit of mechanical sympathy to get it to the line, which we're to try and do as much as possible. So fingers crossed it lasts our next half hour-ish or however long's left. But I'm sure it will. Yeah.
And how was your stint anyway? Well, I didn't get to see you in the pit window.
Yeah, the stint was good. Yeah, really hot. Managed to pull out enough of a gap, which negated our 30-second success penalty from the last race. Yeah, so hand the car over to Sam. It's a little bit hot. Luckily, we managed to change the fronts, which was good because we really had no front end of the car. But yeah, so hopefully he's got a good car under him and he'll keep going.
Great stuff. Ash, wish you all the best for the race. Good luck.
Cheers, guys. Nice one.
Thank you very much, Ash. And it's back to you in the commentary box.
Thank you very much to Kieran McGinley. Safety car then is heading the cars around. That's why we've got it. It's the recovery vehicle on the scene at Farm to pick up the BMW of Chris Murphy, which was briefly leading the race amid the pit stops. And was going well. It was on the lead lap, certainly after the pit stops as well, but all of a sudden it just ground to a halt, more or less coming over the start and finish line. So that's needing a lift to recover it, which is why we have had this interruption with 29 minutes of the race now left to go. This does close things up a little bit, I reckon, or it would do if the safety car had picked up the lead. Now really it's going to need to wave quite a lot of cars through, because only the last two cars in this queue, as we're seeing news, that's interesting, of a refuelling infringement, and therefore a 2-lap penalty for the car that's third in Class C, John Peerless and Matthew Stirling. They're getting a 2-lap deduction for a refuelling infringement. But yes, right at the back of this queue of cars behind the safety car, that's where you find the leader, number 6, Dylan Brichter. So they're going to need to wave a lot of cars through and then let them catch up. Otherwise, it's very much a free pass, this, for Dylan Brichter to take the victory here, because he's basically got thick end of a lap on his rival. Safety car, yeah, it is waving cars through now, so that is good to see, and it's realised that it needs to wave quite a lot of them through, or the driver has, and no doubt getting word from race control. Now they're stopping Scott parking. Now that's just because they're coming up towards the pit entrance. They don't want anyone overtaking there, but it's not Scott parking that they need to pick up. It's the number 6 car, Dylan Brichter, that they need to pick up, who's right at the back but one car in this group. So there's more cars that will need to be waved through yet before they find the race leader. They've got the wrong Audi TT from Dockside Developments at the moment. So those cars that have been waved through will head off at a slightly increased pace to try and catch back up with the rear of the queue. The flatbed truck has got the BMW of Chris Murphy now on the back of it, and that is being taken away. I'll find a gap in the Armco to take that through. There's the view from the link. There you can see the new Escapade buildings in the background there on the outside of Beckett's Corner. New facilities of accommodation that have been built at that part of the circuit. So is the safety car going to wave through the rest of these cars? 25 car of Alok Iyengar, that's really in 9th place now. It's a lap down on the race leader. But are the rest of the cars being waved through is the question we ask ourselves. Let's head down once again to the pit lane. Kieran McGinley's got another interview.
I'm down at the garages now of the number 8, our Class B leaders. I'm here with Chris Webster. Chris, it's going well for you so far in the Flying Tangerines. We're under the safety car, but what's the rest of the race plan?
Keep running. So we've had a number of issues this season with an ECU fault, which we've pretty much ironed out to know exactly what it is, but we haven't got the replacement part yet. So the old girl has a habit of cutting out, and then we have to control alt delete while driving. So that's been the story of the season so far. It happened yesterday in the race in Road Sports, and it happened yesterday in Quali. So far, oh, I'm jinxing it now, aren't I? So far in the race today, we're going well.
It's all right, I didn't say it, so it's okay.
Okay, cool.
So how was your stint out there anyway?
Oh, I loved it, yes, really good. Yeah, quite busy. Well, it wasn't busy in terms of my class. I was sort of scrapping away with some of the slightly slower A-class cars. More powerful on the straights, a bit slower through the corners, so we have quite a duel out there. It can be quite fun, but all the while you've got your eye in the mirror to see if anyone's catching up with you while you're doing it. So yeah, it's quite busy in that respect, but quite quiet in terms of Class B today.
Absolutely. And do you reckon your teammate there in Matthew Tidmarsh can get it to the line?
Well, I do, yeah. I mean, Matt is a little bit stronger than me on this circuit, so I've every faith in him putting in lap after lap, and so long as the little Janetta plays her part, then it's going to be a good day, hopefully.
Hopefully so. Chris, good luck for the rest of the race.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for speaking to us. Thank you, Chris. And it's back to you in the commentary box.
Yeah, with 24.5 minutes of the race left to go. They have now waved through the number 1 car of Scott Parker and the other cars that were behind it. So hopefully the safety car has now picked up Ryan Parker. And I think it has. I can see it out the window. We can see it now on the screen as well. So safety car is leading them over the line. This is possibly going to be the last safety car lap if the queue is reformed at the end of it, because I think the BMW of Chris Murphy has now been taken away, and that will mean that we should, if the queue reforms, can get underway at the end of this lap. Now Scott Parkin had managed to get to the back of the queue. The others are still catching up, but Scott Parkin would have been particularly keen to get there, because amid that safety car, he's effectively gained 10 seconds, because he was about 23 seconds behind the leader. He's now just under 13 seconds behind the leader as we go into what's going to be about the last 21 minutes of the race. So they're going to get something like 17 laps or something like that out of the final, what we think is going to be the final stanza of this race, Marcus.
Yeah, I went to the end of the grandstand to have a look to see what I could find, and of course I could see them. They'd lifted Chris Murphy's BMW onto the flatbed and taken it away. I don't know that it was desperately vulnerable, but there's a potential for anything pretty much, isn't there, when a car's in even a vague sight line of the racetrack.
Yeah, and it clearly needed to be lifted. It wasn't something that could just be pushed away or towed away or whatever. So because it needed that outside assistance, I guess that's why they slightly belatedly called the safety car. Safety car has gone in now, I think. And so we're about to get underway. So it's going to be Dylan Brichter leading. The car in second is Simon Major, who is about 6th in the queue, I think. But the one that we want to watch, I think, is probably Scott Parkin, who is a bit further back in the queue.
6 places behind the Seat.
Yeah, so he's been about sort of 12th or 13th in the queue overall, and he was sort of 12 or 13 seconds behind the leader. As the green flag waves, the race gets back underway. Of course, Scott Parker was unable to overtake until he got to the timing line. He's already passed a couple of slower cars, I can see, and he was 7.6 seconds behind the leader at the start of this lap. So I think we could have a race on here, Marcus.
Looks like it, yeah. It looks a really tasty finish to this race. It's likely. Saunders is millions of miles behind Middleton, and then Parkin far drift as well. And what it's done, of course, it's concertinaed the traffic into sort of one more kind of one part of the circuit rather than spread it all round.
Interestingly, Dylan Brichter has lost track position to another car there, hasn't he? Which is the 444 car. That's Alan Blenko. So he is a lap down. He's in 6th place, but now is the leader on the road, if you like. But a lap down, and he will be quick. Experienced driver, has raced in British Touring Car Championship, of course.
Yep, the Yorkshire scaffolding contractor.
Yeah, so he's going to be rapid. At least a couple of ex-BTCC drivers on the grid, because James Pickford did a season or two in touring cars as well, I think. And there he is, just going through now in the number 19 car, Speak of the Devil. He's up to 19th position in that orange Audi TT that's in Class B, shared with Wayne Lawson. So at the end of that lap, in terms of time, Scott Parker had lost a little bit, down up to 9.5 seconds, but that's probably the impact of Ryan being able to get away quite nicely at the restart and Scott having to pick his way through traffic. And
big spin there, one of the BMWs, a half spin, broadside across the track, but well caught and well ameliorated. He's back on his way.
Yeah, I think that was the Hayes and Subiani car that had that half spin. So there's Scott Parkin, number 1, the Dark Side Developments Audi TT, 2-litre TDI engine. And good battles here. That's Middleton. He's being sort of unlapped there by the number 92 car, which in the second part of this race is Phil Knibb in that car. And 25 is Alok Iyengar.
He's still managed to hold him off, has Middleton. Didn't get taken after all that.
Yeah, so that's also sort of the battle for about 8th and 9th position overall as well. That's the 82 car of Ben Williams now coming through. He's just ahead of him, and this is sort of a battle for 7th, 8th, 9th position, something like that as well. Very interesting race situation that's developed here. Scott Parkin is at the rear of that group. There's the leader, his brother's car now driven by Dylan Brichter, and here comes Scott Parkin. He's going to try and make up some more ground down the straight if he can get past Alok Iyengar's number 25 Cupra.
Gets a big change from a F1000 to a TCR type car for Alok Iyengar. He's still at the back of that group, Scott Parkin. Towards the front of the group is Middleton there.
Less than 19 minutes of the race to go as well. Pit window will close for what it's worth in a few minutes' time, but everyone's already made their pit stop, so that's somewhat academic.
It's 34, that's Greg Saunders in 3rd place.
Yeah, and that's the sort of battle for position that we're going to have to watch, isn't it? Because that's where we're going to see Saunders against Scott Parkin.
Yeah, Parkin's only 1.5 seconds adrift of Saunders, and Saunders is 1.4 behind Middleton. So there's 4.44 stop and go penalty. That's Blenko.
Yeah, it is, and I wonder what that's for. I wonder if it was an infringement in terms of the safety car or something like that, or if it was something in the pit lane.
Overtaking maybe before the timing line or something.
Could be.
Simple as that.
Not had any sort of notifications through to explain exactly what that is for. So there is Dylan Brichter, and then there is
coming up beside that Saunders now with Middleton.
Yeah, so this is for 2nd place, and they're not too far behind.
There is Parkin.
Scott Parkin. And Middleton here is under pressure now from Saunders, who was almost alongside. So you've got the 2 sets, you've got a 3rd Seat as well.
Parkin using the diesel torque, and here he comes up the. He's right with them. They're all together. This is the battle for 2nd place.
Yeah, he's got past that number 92 car, which is a lap down. So 3 cars together for 2nd. Dylan Brichter is 9 seconds or so up the road in the lead of this race. These 3 cars right together now, turning their way through the village hairpin. Again, you try and using the torque on the exit of the hairpin is Scott Parkin, but actually lost a little bit of ground there.
Yeah, that's through the line, I think. Woo.
Yeah. Now through, very wide for Scott Parkin there through the link and on to the Hanger Straight once again. So it's Justin Middleton in 2nd in that white Cooper. The black Cooper with the orange stripes is Greg Saunders, and then it is the black and red Audi TT of Scott Parkin. He is 4th. These are the 3 battling for 2nd, 3rd and 4th positions. As just in the distance up the road on the stream, you can see Dylan Brichter turning into the Vale 9 or 10 seconds ahead of them. A great battle going on here for second place overall, with still 16 minutes of the race left to go. Well, they do seem pretty evenly matched, these three. Over the line they go. And that time, 1:14, 1:14. Yep, three of them in the 1:14s. Brichter in the lead was in the 1:13s, though, 1:13.493. So he has now got the lead up over 10 seconds.
Yeah,
which is important.
It's only just over a second, splitting second to fourth. Now here they are: Justin Middleton, Greg Saunders, and Scott Parkin.
Yep, out of the link they come. Onto
here comes Parkin, just trying to little sniff up the inside there, coming down towards Stowe Corner, but wasn't close enough. Just, in fact, he may even have moved the car out of the airstream to try and just get out of the slipstream, to get a bit more air through the radiator. This stage of the race.
Yeah, possibly. Down into the Vale they go again. More slower cars ahead of them to try to deal with as well, but the cars ahead aren't that much slower, which really makes it quite a challenge to deal with them. They go past the car previously driven by Ivor Mayers, the 316 car with Cameron Reid now aboard, right from Ashford. Pit window closed, confirmation, although that's now academic because everyone had made their stops with plenty of time to spare. There's Scott Parkin, number one. Reminder, he's within 11 seconds of the lead of the race. He had a 30-second longer pit stop than the race leader because of success in previous rounds. Scott Parkin had won the previous 2 rounds of the championship at Brands Hatch and Snetterton, admittedly quite a while ago. Snetterton was middle of June, around about 8 weeks ago now. And this is a lapped car that's getting involved.
Is that Iyengar back again?
No, that's the 82 car of the car that was started by Ben Williams and now has another driver on board who I'm trying to check. Yeah, Bruno Costa on board that car now.
It's car running 7th.
Yeah, it's a lap down, but running in similar lap times to the leader. And Phil Knibb, who's in 8th place in the number 92 car, Andrew has just done his best lap of the race, and it's a 1:13.543. So that's the car that you can also see in shot there, just ahead of Iyengar, which is the black and yellow, Day-Glow yellow car. You can see that Colin Gillespie started. So really, there's a good battle here for second, third, and fourth together, and then you've got a good battle really for 7th, 8th. And 9th, effectively. So a couple of decent battles, a lap apart, but in quite close proximity on the circuit.
Has Blanco made that pit stop yet? It doesn't look like it, because he's still showing a 6th.
Yeah, I don't think he has.
Middleton down the outside.
Yeah, Saunders there is the car that's challenging him, the black car number 34. I think that might be Blanco heading into the pit lane now. Yeah, we could just see that on the live stream. So I think
down the inside, and a change then for second place. And Saunders has got through at Vale.
Can Parkin follow? Scott Parkin in the number 1 Darkside Developments Audi TT. Middleton going to try and come back, I think, first. At Greg Saunders as they head into Abbey again with 12.5 minutes of the race left to go. Down to a sprint race distance. And it's like a sprint race conclusion.
He goes up the inside, and that's Parkin through. He's displaced Justin Middleton.
Well, it's good, I mean, touch wood as I say this, that obviously both Brichter's Audi TT and Parkin's car are circulating, because they've proved a little bit fragile on occasion, these Audi TTs.
Gamble.
As the cars make their way down to Stowe Corner once again. So now can Scott Parkin catch and pass the number 34 car, which is Greg Saunders, and get up to second place. I don't think he's going to catch Dylan Brichter, who's in the lead by well over 10 seconds now, even if he does, but it'd be a good result if he can salvage second from this, having had to serve that extra time penalty at the pit stop. Just to get the class situation, it is in Class B, Webster and Tidmarsh that are leading in that class. How big is their gap? It is 16 seconds over Partridge and Woodward, and they need to be at least 5 seconds ahead because Webster and Tidmarsh got a 5-second track limit penalty. And third in Class B is Andrew Aidan Fletcher. Class C, it's Moore and Dennis still leading in that class. From in second place, and I think a lap behind effectively, Paul Subiani and Johnny Hayes and Peerless and Stenning. They've got a 2-lap deduction, so they will fall behind the Mazda MX-5 of Thomas Stedman and his teammate who's driving that car now, which is Michael Hooper, in the final classification. 2 laps deducted for a refueling infringement for the Honda. So there's Saunders in second place, there's Scott Parkin in third place, and they're making their way along the stretch towards the Vale, and then on towards Club Corner for the... almost a touch there between the second and third place cars, Marcus.
Yeah, very, very tight through traffic. They've got the Mazda to overtake the later model MX-5. That may have disadvantaged Saunders at a point of the circuit where we've a whack from the guy. He was trying to get out of the way, not trying to get out of the way. He overreacted to Saunders and then sideswiped Parkin.
Yeah, Bruno Costa that was in the number 82 car. Hopefully it's not caused damage to Parkin's car.
Well, Parkin's car's now under attack again, but from Middleton, who's down alongside and is going past it. So I wonder if it's not the tracking maybe on the Audi.
It could well have done. Perhaps there could have been slightly more situational awareness there. But Parkin was trying to go on the outside of the car that was being lapped, which I guess there was some risk there. As he was keen to get up another position in the later stage of the race. And the problem is here, you've got that car, which is a lap down. Again, there's contact this time with Saunders.
That's the same car, isn't it?
It
is. 82, two contacts with the leading car inside half a lap.
Yeah, and this is the problem when you've got cars that are lapping in a similar pace, but on different laps. Whether there's always the awareness of that you are battling with a car on different laps, they're probably not getting necessarily blue flags. Always to show that cars on another lap are coming through.
The other thing's difficult, of course, is that a lot of these TCR cars look very, very similar.
Yes.
From the front, where there's not a lot of livery on them.
No. Oh, and Parkin way, way wide there. You do wonder if there is some damage.
A tracking issue.
It's not.
Or a tyre going down or something like that. It might have cut a tyre.
Yeah, either way, the handling is deteriorating. There's 8 minutes left to go. So I think now the question becomes, can Scott Parkin hold on and keep that car going to the end of the race? He's got 26 seconds in hand over the Martin Gadsby number 117 BMW Compact. So that's now a consideration as well. But we're getting very hectic in these closing stages of the race. So it's Saunders in second, Middleton there in third, and Scott Parkin is still there in fourth position, but the gap's elongated from where they were a couple of laps ago.
Now looks like he's sort of a little nervous about trying to pass the 82.
I'm not surprised.
No, absolutely. He's had grandstand views of, and Middleton's just gone off the circuit here at Abbey. He's ran wide and he's hopped back on. So he lost the place to Parkin as a result. He has. Middleton kind of went rallying.
No, it's not lost to Parkin. No, it's not lost to Parkin.
There's Parkin. I think Middleton's dropped back.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look here. So, yes, I think you're right, actually.
Yes, there he is.
Yeah, that's right. You're absolutely right, Marcus. 62 into the pits. That's not for the first time today. That's the Peter Denley Sadler and Edward Gay at BMW.
So often these races have stings in their tails in the last 10 minutes, quarter of an hour.
Absolutely right. Meanwhile, Dylan Britt's extended his lead to 11.2 seconds now over the rest. Here's the next group of cars coming through.
Lining up to ambush Middleton.
Yeah. So let's just have a look at how much time Middleton lost on that lap. He's coming over the line now, and for him it was a 1:18 compared to 1:13 for Saunders, 1:14 for, I just say, 4 seconds roughly that he lost as a result of that. Dropped him back to 4th place. And with that off about a lap ago. So there's Scott Parkin. I mean, for him, good news was it was a 1:14. So those handling issues he seems to be at least coping with, if indeed there are any handling issues with that car. Sam Dennis going through shot there in the 195 car, having taken over from Ashmore, and looking good for a 4th successive win out of 4 this season in the Tegiwa Club Enduro Championship in Class C, and that will put them in a great position going into the penultimate meeting at Alton Park, where a win there would certainly wrap up the championship. Saunders in 2nd place. I think a relative newcomer to the Club Enduro. Just having a look to see if he's been out so far this season. But I don't think he has. We saw him in the road sports, didn't we, at Cadwell Park a few weeks ago, where he went pretty well. Got some good results there. I think he was out in the All-Comers race as well.
2 hours round here in traffic in this heat.
Yeah, on your own.
It's going to take its toll, isn't it?
It certainly will. Get that man a glass of water, I think, for when he comes into Parc Fermé. Yeah, it's certainly going to be very tiring for those drivers that have gone solo, which is only a handful. Saunders, Scott Parkin has done that. David Embury has done that in 22nd place. We've not seen much of him in the 168 car. And he's been out there in his BMW M235i. There's the Browse car that's had its dramas. Where is it actually running, the Browse car at the moment? 221.
Just outside the top 10. 12th or so from memory.
Yeah, just having a...
It's up to 11th.
Yeah, 11th, 22 I should say.
Yes, because Blanco's dropped back with his stop.
That's right. So what have we got? 3.5 minutes of the race left to go into the very final stages of the race. Brichter still putting in good laps in the 13, so he's maintaining a lead of more than 11 seconds over the rest, which is very important. Doesn't want any last lap dramas. Scott Parkin is 7 seconds behind Saunders, but Middleton is only 1.5 seconds behind Parkin, so I guess there's still the chance of a change for the final podium position. So we'll see if we can pick up on that. There's Saunders, who's now 7 seconds ahead of Parkin. So we'll pick up if we can on Parkin number 1.
BMW scrambling over the curbs onto the grass at Club.
Yeah, there's Parkin and there's Middleton. They're less than 1.4 seconds apart now, aren't they, as they go down to Vale, and they've got a lot of cars, including that number 82 car of Bruno Costa ahead of them. And the Trouble 4 car of Alan Blanco is all over the gravel at Vale. That sends Scott Parkin very wide at Club Corner, not to get an advantage, but just to get out of the way. And yeah, what was 1.4 seconds is now 0.4 seconds.
Now Middleton's gone up the other side, and he's having to tuck back behind Blanco.
Again, that's going to be a car that's lapping in a similar pace, albeit on a different lap.
Yeah, Blanco's pushing quite hard through Abbey.
Yeah, and that Blanco in 12th position now, having had to serve that stop-go penalty in the car that he shared with Claire Norman.
Lotus was off-piste.
Yeah, that may well have been the Daniel Jude car, the 197 car, which has, I think, Mike Rayner at the road out. Yes, it was. So just keep an eye on that. Well, there's now a car, the Blanco car between Parkin. Well, but for how long? Because Blanco's going to get ahead of Parkin here, I think. No, he's not quite going to do it at Stoke. I thought he was going to go around the outside. He's going to have another nibble on the way down to the Vale. But there's probably only going to be 2 laps to go, I would think. As yeah, he's just started the penultimate lap, I think, as Dylan Brichter. As the next group of cars just making their way into Club Corner for the final time. Saunders has gone through, and then Parkin and Middleton go over the line with 1.2 seconds between them now and 2 laps of the race to go. Just checking the classes to make sure there's no dramas there. Yep, still the same leaders in classes B and C of this race. So that's Webster and Titmarsh in Class B, and Moore and Dennis in Class C.
And there's the 82 again. Parkin looks quite wary of.
Yes, indeed. And you do wonder if all of these drivers know that which lap they are on and who they're actually battling with in this race. So down to Stowe they come. And
Blanco's had another go on the outside, and he's gone past Parkin, but Parkin tucks back. He's balked, he's stuck on the inside behind the 82 car as they go on to their last lap.
Yeah. As Brichter has already started his final lap there. Just going past the number 119 Audi TT. That's the car with Bobby Trundley now aboard, having taken over from Sandro Ballesteros. Bobby Trundley, who was one of the early 116 trophy drivers when that first came out.
88 laps down then for the lead car by Dylan Brichter at this point. Ryan Parkin started it.
Yeah, and it'll be a good result. They had a second place, these two, at Brands Hatch on the Grand Prix circuit earlier in the season, and I think it was a 75-minute race, a shorter race they had there. But this is going to be a victory, first victory of the season for them. They had a DNF at Croft. I think they started at Stetton for the last meeting, so it's Dylan Brichter coming through the Vale for the final time, just in behind that number 55 car. I think it's Stanton aboard that car now, but Brichter coming through with the clock having counted down to 0. He'll see the checkered flag to win the Tegiwa Club Enduro Championship here at Silverstone by a convincing margin in the end. Second place will go the way we think of Greg Saunders. He should appear through the final corner any moment now. I think this is him flashing his headlights. There's our Class B leader. That is number 8. And they are, I think, a couple of laps down as over the line to complete the race. Scott Parkin just holds on to third by a quarter of a second from just in Middleton towards the end. And our Class C leader also coming through as well. So our Class B and C leaders more or less together, which is nice. Class C leader Samuel Dennis. So this is going to be a 4th win out of 4. Hard to see whether they've got the fastest lap in the class as well, which they've done in every other race so far. So 4 wins out of 4 in Class C, and a Class B victory, and delight for the Flying Tangerine Racing team, who've had some ill luck this season. They have won in Class B. But there's our overall winner, Dylan Brichter, who took over from Ryan Parkin, and a victor, well-deserved victor at the end of a very entertaining Club Enduro race, Marcus.
Yeah, absolutely, and what a great team result for Darkside Developments. 1 and 3 overall, split by Greg Saunders. Super result for him in the 34 Seat, and Major and Middleton. What a super effort from them, as well as Jones and Gadsby to finish on the lead lap in their BMW. So it was Audi from Seat, and then in 5th place the BMW.
Yeah, 5 cars on the lead lap, headed by number 6 Dylan Brichter and Ryan Parkin. 89 laps completed for them. 34 Greg Saunders was second, 11.8 seconds behind, and third was number 1 Scott Parkin. 4th number 18 Simon Major and Justin Middleton. 5th number 117 Ian Jones and Martin Gadsby. 6th number 82 Ben Williams and Bruno Costa. 7th number 69 Matthew Hampton and Andy Schultz. 8th number 25 Colin Gillespie and Dalok Iyengar. 9th number 78 Matthew Stockford and Alan James. 10th number 92 Andrew Rath and Phil Nibb. Then 13th overall, completing the Class B winner, was Chris Webster and Matthew Titmarsh. Second in that class, number 87 Partridge, Toby Partridge and Louis Woodward. On the next screen we'll see who was in 3rd in Class B. Just waiting for that to scroll through. That should be the Andrade and Fletcher car. Yes, it was. Treble 7 in their Golf. Then in Class C, Ashmore and Sam Dennis in 21st overall in the 195 Honda Civic Type R from Paul Subiani and Johnny Hayes in the BMW 318 Ti, and Thomas Stedman and Michael Hooper in the Mazda MX-5. They were third, with that 2-lap penalty applied to Peerless and standing for a refuelling infringement. And quite a few cars didn't make it to the end, unfortunately. We were several cars down at the end, but nevertheless, I think we had well over 20 cars finishing a slightly attritional Tegiwa Club Enduro Championship race, and that championship continues at Alton Park in September, which again is another live streamed event courtesy of Alpha Live. Watch out too, by the way, for Brands Hatch next Saturday. We're live streaming that meeting as well. But for now, let's head down to the pit lane once again and Kieran McGinley.
So we've just got the drivers now heading in after that Club Enduro. We've got Dylan Brichter, our winner here. Dylan, come forward, otherwise you might see the wrong end of a car. Dylan, congratulations on the victory there. Talk us through it, because obviously that was a long, hard race.
That felt really long. Like, I thought after the safety car, I thought maybe if the safety car stays out, then I'll just sit there and win the race like that. But then safety car went in. I think there was some lapped cars in between me and second, which probably helped create a gap. But yeah, that felt really long at the end there. It was like 15 minutes still, and I was like trying to wish for the race to end or something. But yeah, no, the car was perfect. The guys have done such a lot of work in preparation for today. They really have spent so many nights doing this. So hopefully Scotty got a good result as well. And then for the team, this is mega for us.
Absolutely pictured there, because your team jumping all over you, 4 or 5 team members jumping all over you as well.
Yeah, they've really worked so hard for this, so it's good for them. And then I got my sister and her team here supporting me, my parents, everyone's turned out. So it's a perfect weekend now.
And it's a good first stint from Ryan as well. How much of that did that play a part?
From Ryan, yeah, no, that was spot on. That's exactly what we wanted. We thought maybe an ultimate pace, we were just kind of half a second off first and second. But over a 2-hour race, it's your average pace that counts, and we managed to manage that pretty well.
Great stuff, Dylan. I'll let you get hydrated. Go celebrate with your team. You've earned that one.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dylan. Let's have a chat now to our Class B victor in Matthew Tidmarsh. He's just getting all the de-suited, de-kitted. He's still attached to the car, look. There you go. Matthew, congratulations. Class B victory. How does that feel?
Oh, it's been a long way, a long road to this place. All sorts of car issues, reliability, and we've just put it all together this weekend. We won yesterday, we polled yesterday, we won yesterday, we polled again today, we won again today. Just epic, yeah. It's just fantastic. I'm speechless.
Epic stuff to watch. I mean, that first in from Chris Webster as well, not too bad either.
Oh, very solid, yeah. He laid the foundations to it, made it easy for me. Yeah, I just had to bring it home.
Yeah, lots of reports from drivers that it was slippery during that race. Did you feel the same?
Bit off pace from quali. I think I got lap record and fastest lap, so it can't have been too bad.
Just a little on the slippery side then. Obviously, a great day for you, great day for the team as well.
Yeah, fantastic. Everyone's just done their job perfectly. You know, massive thanks out to the team. Couldn't do this without them. My mum, my dad, my wife, my kids, John, Tom, Sam, everybody. Just fantastic.
That's great, and a huge smile on your face as well. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Great stuff. I'll go let you get de-kit. You're still de-kitting there, dropping the headphones, but I'll let you get de-kitted. Congratulations.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. And let's have a chat to our Class C victor in Sam Dennis. Sam, we spoke earlier on about your tirades earlier in the weekend, but here you are standing as a victor.
I am indeed, yes. I have to thank the team for that. They worked really hard to get the car completely rebuilt. The front end was smashed, and it's now we've gone out and won it. So I have to thank them and thank obviously my teammate Ash Moore for just sticking with us and getting it through to the end.
Yeah, Ash was also talking about the overtime your team put in to get the car ready and prepared for the race. I mean, that was a mega job from them.
Yeah, well, a lot less than last time. So they've done a lot of work on it, but you know that's why we got someone else's bonnet on it.
It all makes a difference. That was the winning part, I reckon.
Yeah, there's a piece off Will's car, and unfortunately, obviously, he fell out, but you know, it's racing.
Yeah, I mean, you're a man who can't stop smiling right now. Win means a lot to you then.
Yes, this is the 4th win in Club Enduro and our 7th win this year so far.
So keep on smiling. Those wins will keep coming then. Is that the formula?
That's the plan.
That's the plan. Great stuff. Congratulations on the victory there. And go and celebrate with Ash. You've earned it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sam. And before we get going with our next race, we'll have a little bit of an ad break before we get back with the action.